You think of a pairing of any fictional characters, and I guarantee you that they have their own army of affection-starved fans. Like, there's a fake My Hero.
If you are animating young people doing weird things, you need help. The crazy world of unhinged fan bases.
I'm Kendall Rick! My beloved Dum-Dum! I'm Kendall Rick!
If I've learned anything...
What type of reaction were you expecting from that? Look at him, guys. He watches Rick and Morty. He's so cool. I feel like sometimes you gotta understand whenever you do something in public, you gotta also understand, like, everyone is gonna look at you crazy. There's nothing bad about doing something in public. Just don't interrupt other people's workflow.
My 57 years on this planet is to make sure that I never interact with people who share the same interests as me, ever.
That is very much true. I think it's definitely normal to have an interest, but when you make your interest your whole personality, like, I'm a fan of anime, right? I think anime is cool. I think a lot of shows are cool. There's no reason why we should be near a woman and your ass should be talking about Naruto powers and power scaling and whatever. Let's calm down. It's okay to like something. Just don't act cringe.
I started life day one on hard mode because I was born as a Sonic fan, which as we all know is on the Mount Rushmore of dog shit fan bases. Like many 2000s kids with absent parents, Sonic was literally my entire personality for like a solid third of my entire life. Like, you bet your ass that I used to unironically run with my arms behind my...
Everyone has to do this. Funny enough, this did not give us a single power boost, nothing. If you didn't try to do this and yo, gotta go fast, you didn't have a proper childhood.
Back, so every PE class was a free cringe compilation for the rest of my entire cohort. But while I'm used to the Sonic fan base being as collectively depressed and miserable as your average Spider-Man fan, it's not the people that don't like Sonic that you have to worry about here. It's the ones that like him maybe a little too much.
Oh, no. You see, anytime people fantasize anything that they've watched, when you want to start seeing X-rated flicks and angles of people you like, especially the ones that are like animals or inanimate objects, you're weird. Stop. You should not be that obsessed, bro. That's a whole nother level of admiration that nobody should be having for cartoons.
Like, you know, the people that pepper spray random GameStop employees and send Sega hostage execution photos of their plushies, all because they made Sonic's arms blue one time. And the fact that you can Google literally any name with the Hedgehog and get your own private army of shitty...
Oh, hold on. Wait, let me search mine up. Solid the Hedgehog. I've never done this. Wow, so I'm literally the only one without an actual hedgehog. They gave me a real hedgehog. They gave me a real one. That was sad.
DeviantArt recolors. And as a kid who just wanted to engage in lighthearted discussion about which Sonic character was the biggest baddie in the trenches of Amino, every single time I just wanted to Google, like, I don't know, Amy or Knuckles, I had to mentally censor like half the search results to shield my...
And I don't know how old they are, but they're definitely presented as young characters. Let's be real. I hate when authors would say a character is like 58 years old and they're built like this. Yo, then make them built like the size that they are. You're talking about they're what? 5 inches tall. Oh, and they're 95 years old and they have baby characteristics. Let's not do that. That's weird. Also, never search anything up on Twitter. If you know Twitter, you can literally search anything in this search bar and it'll show you the most heinous things of whatever. And let's not even talk about Rule 34. If you know, you know.
From all of the swollen bellies and pregnant toilet fan art. Because Sonic fans are some of the most creative and talented people on the entire planet, and they use that power to make so much goddamn porn. And after a while, having a fan base this unhinged literally tanked the reputation of the entire series for years, to a point where it took like $1 billion at the box office for it to like now be safe to publicly admit you like Sonic again.
What? This is an actual movie. I've never actually watched the IRL makes. I don't know if this is a hot take or not. Whenever people make real life versions of cartoons or whatever, it's just a money hungry tactic. I feel like they're just going based off of people's nostalgia and making a real life version of it. I don't care for real life models. I don't know about you guys, but whenever I hear something is made in a real life version, I already know it's not going to be as good as the original. So why would I even spend money to watch it? But as for the companies, I can't even blame them, because if you're making a profit, then get your bag.
But like, this kind of shit makes a genuine impact on how much people want to engage with things. Like, I don't know what the fuck Homestuck is, but like, after all the shit I've heard about its deranged fan base, I don't want to go near this shit. But you know, it took getting older and venturing outside the confines of the Sonic Google Plus pages to realize that maybe it wasn't that bad being exposed to fetish art of Sonic's toes on a daily basis when you've got anime fans who have bi-weekly meetups over which high school student they're
Yo, you see, bro, what sucks so much about anime fans is that we could all unanimously agree that anime is great. Anyone that actually takes their time to watch anime, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna enjoy it. But then when you have people who don't watch it, whose first impressions are people going to anime conventions and asking women to kick them in the balls, I can't blame them for thinking we're weirdos. I can't. But I promise you, if you haven't watched anime yet, pick up a good one, because there's one for everybody.
attracted to, or the Star Wars fandom who schedule activities activities include competitive racism and bullying actors off of social media. If you were just going off of like Twitter and YouTube, Star Wars fans would come off as the most perpetually pissed off collection of people on the entire planet. And now because you got Disney like milking the shit out of the brand and dropping a new Disney Plus show every week, the rest of the internet has to hear on a daily basis about how much these guys hate women and any person of color, and also this guy doing a spin in the Boba Fett show. Which is funny because the creator George Lucas has publicly stated many times that he made them as movies for 12-year-olds. I'm not even like making fun of anyone, he like literally said that.
You know, it's hard for people to realize, and I'm not supposed to say this, and I wasn't supposed to say it then, but, you know, it's a film for 12-year-olds.
And the way people are critiquing it, the way people are flaming certain actors or whatever, it's crazy, bro. You are literally arguing over a show meant for kids, not even teens, for kids. Now, granted, Star Wars is an amazing series, but if the creator of it is not taking it as serious, then I feel like other people should calm down too.
And look, I don't have to sit here and tell you that not everyone is like this, and there's good people in every fan base, okay? You know that, I know that, George... Yeah. Probably doesn't know that, but I went to the Revenge of the Sith screening last week and was prepared for a Minecraft movie experience where I'd have to inhale the stench of the one collective shower of the entire audience. But no, it was fine. People were actually super respectful, except for my friend who kept calling General Grievous General Chungus. But when you think of fan bases like these, you're not thinking of the
I will say one of the worst things, and I feel like everyone has experienced this once. Whenever you go to the movie theaters to actually genuinely enjoy a movie, and then you got a heckler. Someone who thinks they want to be Kevin Hart or Dave Chappelle in the middle of a movie screening. Yo, bro, I don't care what you're saying. You could be a comedic genius for all I care. If I pay my hard-earned money to go ahead and enjoy a film that I'm anticipating that I watched the trailer for, shut your ass up. And then you got other people just like laughing loudly. Like, bro, can we keep it at a minimum? I don't care if you eat. You know, let's be real. Movie theater food could be good. It costs an arm and a leg. Enjoy it. But when you're laughing at jokes that are not even funny, when you're yelling out jokes to make everyone laugh, calm down. Maybe like once in a blue moon, you can make the audience laugh. But if you're talking throughout the whole thing, shut up. We don't care.
Normal people. You're thinking of the person who bathed in a bath full of Sharpie to try and bleach their skin for a cosplay. Seriously, what the fuck is Homestuck about, man? I'm sure there's a ton of super creative and passionate Star Wars fans out there somewhere, but I never get to hear from them because they're drowned out by all of these loud-ass hate grift channels that are angry literally all of the time and treat The Last Jedi like it was their Pearl Harbor.
Fuck this movie, eat my ass, and suck every hair off my balls.
You didn't have a lot of hairs to begin with, let's be real. By all means, you can be very critical of a show that you love because nothing is more disappointing than loving a show so much and then the ending being terrible. By all means, crash out, say whatever you want. But I feel like as you get older, it kind of looks a little bit more embarrassing.
Talk about toxic fandoms without bringing up music fans, which I'm only going to get into really quickly because I just feel like I don't have enough death threats in my Twitter DMs right now. It's really easy to point and laugh at people who have like celebrity obsession when it's not something you've experienced personally. Like, I'm never gonna understand why people were losing their shit over the Beatles in the 60s, and then again in 2010 with a slightly hotter version of the Beatles. Like, sure, I wish Markiplier was my friend, but you're never gonna catch me waiting like 12 days in line for the privilege of blowing like $1,000 on a ticket to a concert I can't even hear because everyone is screaming the entire goddamn time. But
I've sat in the nosebleeds before to watch a basketball game. Anytime you sit in the nosebleeds, you might as well just watch the TV. Like the big projector they put up. Because that's a better angle at looking at what's going on than actually looking down. And if you're looking at the big projector screen, your ass might have just well have stayed home. And also, I feel like I hate celebrity worship culture. By all means, you could praise someone for being talented, love their art and what they do. But bro, at the end of the day, you gotta understand these people are human. You could do it too. You don't need to make your whole childhood personality about them.
Can't imagine how fucking terrifying it must be being a celebrity with a fan base like this, where you're at constant risk of people yoinking your hair and amassing like an extensive archive of pictures of your toes. But there's two things in life that genuinely scare the shit out of me, and that's kidney stones and Taylor Swift. Swifties, or their scientific terms, fucking psychopaths, is a fan base whose activity—
Yo, you can't even say that in a video like this. Yo, just because you said this in this video, you might actually get DMs yourself. You should have tried to call them something else. Look, I will say Taylor Swift, she is very talented at what she does. If anything, I feel more bad for Taylor Swift herself than her fans. Because to be that famous amongst a lot of people in America, you can't do anything. God forbid Taylor Swift wants to go outside and get some matcha. Bro, she's cooked.
Activities include perpetually crying and communally drinking the blood of her 26 27Xs. And like, I like Taylor Swift, okay? Like, it's not my favorite music in the world, but like, I got no beef with her personally, okay? And it's not them like forming a ritualistic summoning circle at the bottom of the cinema at the Eras tour concert that's the problem, okay? Because that shit's funny as hell. It's the fact that they can be as dedicated to draining their life savings on expensive ass merch as they are hunting down anyone that so much as makes a joke about their lord
and that's what's scary. You should not be that defensive of a human at all. The fact that you would go to war, potentially hurt someone else to protect someone that doesn't even know you, that's creepy.
Savior. Because when animation YouTuber Meat Canyon made a Taylor Swift video last year, they reacted as any normal people would by sending him actual witch curses on Twitter.
Over the next 3 days, your hair is gonna fall out. Being bald is expected within a few hours. Your teeth will get decayed slowly and start falling out. Your organs will collapse and your heart will get overloaded with blood and explode, leaving behind nothing but flesh and bones. How do you come up with this? Let's use all this creativity in making this threat and let's actually apply to get a job. Let's use this effort on a resume.
Because that's like a completely normal thing to do, which is part of what they call Tay Voodoo, which is an actual thing, apparently, by the way, where some of her most obsessed fans like to pretend that anyone who wrongs her ends up with like this Taylor Swift induced karma. It's all
I mean, obviously it's working on Kanye West, so to some degree it's working.
Part of like some cosmic plan, as if she's like fucking Palpatine or some shit. So if my mutilated corpse washes up on a beach after this video, it wasn't the Sonic fans that did it, alright? I'm just saying. Here's an article about someone who got sent death threats, was doxxed, and then was accused of being a Minecraft YouTuber after he dared to criticize Taylor's Eras tour like one time, dude. Like, these people scare the shit out of me. I think Taylor Swift fans would actually kill a person. Imagine like mid-concert, she just singled someone out and went like, do it. I think they would. I think they fucking eat that guy. And I don't even want to bring up like K-pop fans, okay?
No, I'm actually genuinely curious. Do y'all think that if Taylor Swift commanded people to get somebody, which she wouldn't, of course, because that's completely illegal, would they actually do it? Would Taylor Swift fans actually turn into a gang?
Hey, I would feel safer in a room with fucking John Wayne Gacy than a 16 to 25-year-old who likes BTS. But honestly, like, these guys are pretty easy to ignore as long as you just avoid mentioning the exalted one, unlike sports fans, which I've had to put up with against my will for my entire life because I live in Australia and half of every conversation I've ever had is being asked what team I barrack for before they start verbally and physically abusing the nearest TV and or umpire. But again, I don't have a problem if F1 fans want to drop like most people's
The best sports fans are the ones that don't even have like a favorite team or anything. They're casual watchers because every soccer fan is going to be deluded. If you love a team, of course you're going to have bias. And I feel like that goes in regards to any sports, whether that be NBA or NFL. If you love a team, you're obviously going to have takes that support that team.
Orderly rent to watch cars go around in a circle. That's what you're into, dude. The hell yeah, okay? I love that. But for some reason, there is a direct connection between how cute and wholesome a show is and how much you should never talk to anyone that watches it. Like The Loud House, a show on Nickelodeon about a kid and his massive family of underage sisters and parents who need to get a hobby. The single longest piece of text in human history is a 16 million word long Loud House fanfic written by a 30-year-old man role-playing his preteen self-insert Loud House OC, which is not even that bad if you saw some of the shit that they make fan art of, which is just one of the many reasons why the Loud House fandom has a reputation for having a higher concentration of predators than the entirety of Epstein.
Dude, you could have easily took that much millions of words and made a whole Loud House spinoff, bro. You could have just made a whole script and probably even used the time to animate an actual cartoon if you care about it that much.
Island. Has-Been Hotel has only been around for a few years and its fan base has already peaked when a YouTuber spent $50,000 of his own money commissioning a 3-minute long Gooner AMV of his self-insert character being seduced by Charlie. There's a Russian cult.
50,000. You see, bro? Money is not real, bro. I'm telling you, nothing is worse than someone earning so much money knowing that they're gonna be doing the absolute worst that they can with that money. That's when it feels more unfair to people that don't make it.
Based on the mouse from Chip and Dale, okay? Every fan base has that one incident that we just do not talk about. And like most of these are obscure enough to stay within the fandom they came from. So you just have all this crazy shit going on that you'd like never know about if you're not like a chronically online Tumblr user. Like bronies have been copying shit for decades for being a larger portion of the My Little Pony fan base than the 6-year-old girls is meant to be selling toys to. And like, I'm sure most of them are absolutely lovely people, but all it took was one guy to ruin every single trip to Cayman.
If a grown man tells me his love for My Little Pony, I'm gonna assume he's a psychopath. You're a psychopath or you shouldn't be around children.
Because now every time I see a jar, you got me acting like that one dude in Akira. But I'm sure no one's surprised that most of these insane-ass fan bases come from the scariest site on the internet that isn't 4chan, Tumblr. I've never used Tumblr in my entire life, but the impression I've gotten from it over the years is that it's basically like digital Arkham Asylum for violently horny high school girls who will sexualize literally anything in a suit or top hat that looks like it breathes. They made an entire fandom around the Onceler, you know, the guy from the fucking Illumination Lorax movie, who then eventually birthed a phenomenon known as the Tumbler sexy man. Now, as far as I know, the scriptures aren't, like, specific on what makes one eligible for such a prestigious honor. Like, generally, their only requirements is to either be dripped the fuck out and probably canonically responsible for the deaths of thousands of people, like Sans, Undertale, Alistair from Has-Been Hotel, and Waluigi, apparently.
Yes,
and they held a tournament.
Let's talk about that. People who glorify characters that they know have done so much ridiculous crimes. Like, I understand. Sometimes these creators will make the most terrible characters one of the most handsome individuals known in mankind. That doesn't give you a reason to respect them, okay? To some degree, you could still say they look good. But let's not forget that they are terrible people. And then when you love someone that's like a triangle, for example, what about them do you love? At that point, you just love their personality, and something about that is crazy.
A few years back to decide the ultimate Tumblr sexy man, with the finals being between Sans Undertale and Reagan from Mob Psycho 100, in a battle so powerful that it definitely wasn't a coincidence that the Queen of England died immediately after later that day. But Tumblr is also the birthplace of a greater threat to humanity than disease or climate change. Shippers. People whose sole purpose on this earth is dedicated to arguing over fictional characters.
Yo, the fact that there's a Wattpad of me, yo, y'all please stop, okay? I'm gonna read it regardless. Just make it a good story. I have nothing against a good Wattpad story, but please don't make it cringe.
Characters banging each other. And I mean, like, I kind of get it, because, like, half the appeal of shit like Twilight and the Hunger Games is which pair you were behind. You know, of course, mine was Katniss and Peter, because their ship name is Penis, and that's hilarious. But you think of a pairing of any fictional characters, and I guarantee you that they have their own army of affection-starved fans. Like, there's a fake My Hero.
Bro, I'm sorry. If you are animating young people doing weird things, you need help. Especially if nothing ever happened in the show itself. Because that means you wanted to see them do anything. Now, granted, if it happened in the show, then I guess that's what it is. But you should not be going out of your way to do it yourself.
Your Academia video of Deku kissing Bakugo that has 28 million views, and I live in constant fear that the entirety of Australia is outnumbered by Baku-Deku shippers. And just to clarify, right, shipping on a
28 million people care to see that scene. I've never watched MHA. I heard good things, so I'm assuming it's probably a good show. But something does not sit right with me about 28 million people watching two characters kissing like that. Hey, man, it is what it is, though.
its own is not a problem, okay? I love seeing hot men making out with each other as much as the next guy, okay? But there are people who are willing to lay down their goddamn lives to verbally fight to the death for their favorite yaoi pairing. Voltron Legendary Defender had its entire reputation hijacked by its insane shipper fanbase who spent, like, more time threatening the lives of the VAs and their families than actually watching the show. There was a time when they made the mistake of letting some of the fans leave their houses for the first time for a visit to the production studio, where someone accidentally leaked a bunch of photos of unreleased production material. And then, you know, when the studio asked very nicely for people to take them down because it was getting them into a shit ton of legal trouble, their replies were flooded by shippers trying to blackmail them into making their ship canon. I mean, apparently it was mainly like one guy, but I just love the idea that they think the animation team are the people that write the fucking show. There's this urban legend about someone who put like glass.
Imagine going out of your way to tell the directors and the people who made the show that you want a ship to exist. Like, you're actually mad if it's not canon. Get a life, bro.
There's this urban legend about someone who put like glass into cupcakes and gave it to the crew. And, you know, while there's no proof that that actually happened, the fact that so many people think it's true tells you that these guys need to stop talking about fucking sheath and clans and need to start talking to a psychiatrist. But you know what? It could be worse, okay? At least they're not real people, all right? That'd be way too far. Lyries are shipping conspiracy theorists who believe that former One Direction bandmates Harry Styles and Louis Tomlinson had or are still having a long-term and secret romantic relationship, says Wikipedia on their actual real.
And imagine actually being them seeing this. Like, it's one thing if you feel this way for cartoon characters or anime characters because they don't exist. But when you actually ship two people in real life and you are a genuine believer that they like each other and they gotta see this gotta suck.
Life page about One Direction shippers that's longer than their fucking coverage of both world wars. I grew up during a time when like a solid 80% of the Markiplier fan base was only there to ship him with his actual real life friend Jacksepticeye. Like, imagine how weird it would be being friends with someone knowing that like a bunch of 13-year-olds on the internet keep drawing you raw dogging the shit out of each other. And you know, you think the obvious answer as to why this happens is kids, right? Because just like the seat behind me when I'm already having the worst flight of my life, kids just find a way to show up everywhere you don't want them to. Because every single day of my life, I'm regularly at risk of being exposed to a minor's opinion online. Because anytime I see a tweet that pisses me off, I don't even have to look to know that it's from someone with a number below 20 in their bio. know. I remember a while back while I was looking shit up for a video, I accidentally found out that there was a Slender Man fandom on Tumblr. You know, that old-ass creepypasta from like 2012 with the pages and PewDiePie and shit, who made up like a whole...
Y'all are thirsting over Slender Man. Okay, I think one interesting about the internet that I've started realizing is that people love anything. Anything. Ever since Hear Me Out crushes became more popular, I've noticed that people will like a snowball if they've seen it. So this is actually not surprising to me. Like, why are y'all drawing him so chiseled? He has no eyes. And if he sees you, y'all know he will literally end you.
whole Slender Man family filled with quirky characters like Trender Man, Splendor Man.
Okay, well, okay, Trender Man kinda, hey yo, like, I understand, yo. Okay, never mind, I understand the hype now.
And Sexual Offender Man, whose sole character trait is a word that I cannot say on YouTube, as if that's like some quirky
That's his
cute thing to make a
occupation?
character out of. It was cooked getting to watch in real time last year as the creator of the amazing Digital Circus realized that they'd cursed the internet with another uncontrollably horny fan base. I heard a story about like an Undertale fan who put actual needles in cookies that they then gave to a fan artist all because they were drawing a ship they didn't like. That is like actual attempted murder over a fictional game with a talking skeleton whose name...
You see, this is why I just don't accept food from strangers. I'm sorry. Imagine biting what you think is a sweet dessert and then needles are in your mouth. Oh yeah, buddy. You're gonna get sued for all you have.
named after a font. So no, I don't think there's anything wrong with the fact that there's unironically an adult Thomas the Tank Engine fandom, okay? You know, people like to bully Disney adults for having actual joy and whimsy in their lives. And like, if you want to call that cringe, go ahead, okay? But you know what else is cringe? Paying taxes, okay? Being an adult fucking sucks, and if cartoons for 8-year-old children gives you some brief joy in this horrible world, then go for it, king. And I'm not saying I'm any better, okay? I wrote a Transformers and My Little Pony fanfiction once. Batman shouldn't be able to get that info out of me, but I'm telling you anyway. Because like any socially inept 14-year-old, I have literal terabytes of Bionicle fanfiction on my computer that I will be burning with creating for the remainder of my adult life. My friend and I co-wrote a Dragon Ball Z and Transformers fic that was 17 pages long.
You know what? That doesn't even sound that bad. I feel like those are two different things that I don't know how you would combine because DBZ characters are way too stronger, but I wouldn't mind seeing that.
There was a spin-off of our then also ongoing separate DBZ and Transformers fics that were about 80 times longer than that. I have a file on my laptop called 5 Nights at Equestria that I'm too afraid to open, okay? I'm taking that one to my grave. We've all been like this at some point, okay?
No, not all. Stop. You see, like, you gotta love a show way too much for you to actually care about typing essays. I hate typing essays. Writing is not my strong suit. As much as I can love a show, the only thing I can ever do about it is talk about it.
Whether it's typing up a Shadow X Shrek Lemon fanfiction or making FNAF plush toy videos, as long as you're not literally trying to kill people or threaten their lives because two men didn't tongue fuck each other in a kid's show, I think what we've learned here today is that at least you're not a sports fan. I'm not going to be checking my DMs for the next few weeks.
sports
Good
fan.
night, chat.
I will also say this, the same way there's weird fan bases for all of these other mediums like sports, like cartoons, etc. There's also weird fan bases for political figures, all right? Regardless of who it is. There is no reason why you should be staking your life to defend somebody that probably doesn't know who you are, all right? YouTube, let me know which fan base you think is the weirdest. Let me know which fan bases you are a part of. Make sure you guys join us on Twitch. Make sure you subscribe. Road to 900K, man. Waxer for life. Love y'all and peace.